Oh, it's almost here. The MLB playoffs are almost fucking here. And, other than the NHL playoffs, which is probably the best thing you could possibly watch. And I'm not just biased because I'm fucking Canadian. I'm, like, you gotta fucking watch that shit. But baseball playoffs are very good too. And, the thing with baseball is when you're watching the random fucking Rays versus Indians game on a Thursday night, that's not really the most amazing game. But because people, I feel like with baseball, they're trying to make all these fucking rules and they're starting to, like, put guys on second in overtime or in extra innings, which is fucking stupid because if you don't like baseball, you don't like baseball. Okay? You're not going to make more people watch because a runner at second is there in the fucking 10th inning. Baseball is baseball, and baseball is probably the most intense sport because you get like 20 seconds before every single pitch. You're like, holy fuck, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Oh, it's ball one. Oh, what the fuck is gonna... Oh, it's 1-1. Like, that's why baseball's so amazing, and it's such a beautiful game, really. It's all strategy, and I'll start fucking talking about what I'm supposed to talk about here. Who's gonna win the World Series? Now, other than the Cubs, I don't think anyone in the NL can win the World Series, and I don't see anyone beat, like, honestly, yeah, like, the worst seed. The Oakland Athletics are the fucking last place. They are the second wild card, and they have a way better record than the Cubs. So, and I think the Indians, even though they don't have a good record, we'll get to them. But starting off with the Red Sox, the Red Sox are flawed, and they're not the fucking team that everyone thinks they are. And I've been saying this for a while. The teams that win 10-9 games and 7-6 games and 14-7 games, those aren't the teams that win the World Series. The team that wins 2-1 and 4-1 and 5-2, like, that's the team that wins the World Series. And, I'm looking at one series. It's the Cleveland-Houston series. In my opinion, whoever wins that series is winning the World Series. Because those two teams are literal mirrors of each other. They have unbelievable offenses with multiple guys who could win MVPs at any year. They have multiple Cy Young caliber starters. And they both have... Well, the Astros didn't have the most amazing bullpen. But then they're like, you know what? We'll add 23-year-old Roberto Osuna, who is lights out, and he's 23. Or 22, some shit like that. And then the Indians were like, okay, we have unbelievable pitching at every single level. We kind of need that extra bat, so we'll add Josh fucking Donaldson, an MVP. And if you exclude this year, he's had the second best WAR over the past, since he's been on the Blue Jays. So he's basically the fucking second best player in the league you're adding, if he's healthy. And, the Red Sox, I don't give a fuck if you have Mookie Betts. I don't give a fuck if you have JD Martinez. I don't give a fuck who you have. Because Verlander, Cole, Morton, Keuchel, you're not going to get 10 runs off of them consistently. You might get 5 runs one game, but you're not going to get fucking 10 or 15, whatever they've been scoring all year. These wild games. And also, the Red Sox, a lot like the Indians last year, I feel like they got hot at the wrong time. Like, teams that get hot early September, not good. You got to get hot going into the playoffs, and that's exactly what Houston is doing. That's exactly what the Indians have been doing. And, I have basically one point that I need to make, and this is why the Yankees won't win. This is why Oakland won't win. This is why the Red Sox won't win. And when you look at Houston and Cleveland, you have unbelievable starters. So you're going to get consistent starts. You know that. That's a given. You know that. You have a great bullpen, especially Cleveland, so you know you're going to be holding on to those games. And you do not rely only on home runs like the Yankees. The Yankees, I can tell you firsthand, as a Blue Jays diehard fan, that you cannot win a World Series only hitting home runs. You need what the Astros did last year. Single, double, single, double. Maybe then there's a home run. But you don't need... The Yankees score 50% of their runs off of home runs. That is absolutely ridiculously high. And the Red Sox, I feel like when they're not in Fenway, they're just not the same team, I feel. And we've seen with the Red Sox all these playoff years. What happens? They lose in the first round. They got swept by Cleveland 2 years ago. Swept. Because it was Kluber and then it was fucking whoever. I don't know, probably Bauer and Clevenger. Like, there's so many starters. If you're Houston, we all know about Houston. They have the best starting pitching in the league. And then if you're Cleveland, you have two Cy Young caliber guys, Bauer and Kluber. Then you have to deal with Clevenger and Carrasco and Salazar. Holy fuck. And then you have to deal with two MVP caliber hitters with Ramirez and Lindor and Donaldson and Encarnacion and Michael Brantley. Like, these teams are built for the playoffs. They do not rely on home runs. They have home run hitters. You know, your Encarnacion's, but he's not. He can hit more than home runs. And then obviously the Astros are just unbelievable hitters all around. They're just so fucking good. And I think that, man, I'll be watching that playoff series. I'm telling you, whoever wins that series wins the World Series. The Yankees are so flawed, and the Red Sox are very flawed. You know, you're not going to score 15 runs off Kluber. Not happening.